What unexpectedly turned you on? When my significant other jokingly bit my butt. I was lying naked on the bed after a shower and he straight up bit my butt cheek as a joke and dang. It did things. I was in Japan and had a crush on a woman from South France. Returned to the US, in line for fast food, and I hear a woman behind me speaking with a southern French accent. Popped a booner in line for a slice of pizza. When I was a kid, I saw Mona Lisa from my Gamma school art book. The first time I saw her, with hands on her knee, how do I say this? I had a booner. A pre-med student explaining to me the anatomy of the nasal conchi while touching my face. The first time I used a riding lawnmower, when I was like 12. All the vibrating gave me a raging hard on. To this day, whenever I use one to mow I get at least half a stock. Why would anyone do drugs when you could just mow a lawn, Hank Hill? My, at the time fiance, was in school to be an engineer. Meanwhile, I was struggling to get through algebra. She sat down with me and began to explain the logic behind the equations I was using. The more she talked, the wetter I became. Finally, I couldn't ignore my primal instinct any longer, and I had her right there on the kitchen table. It ended up happening almost every time she tried to talk math to me from then on. Coming down off a DMT trip, and there is no easy way to say this, I masturbated thinking about my bedroom door. You know what they say. Whenever one door opens, someone comes through it. When it comes to that woman you're feeling, and a thing she does is such a turn on. Just me personally, but man, women are just ducking great all around. Once my boyfriend and I were cooking dinner together and halfway through it was ruined because he hadn't kept his eye on the hot pan. It was one of the first times he had tried to cook something somewhat fancy for me, plus it was late and we were both hungry and tired. Normally he's very kind and gentle, but he got super frustrated and slammed his hand against the wall, swearing. It was startling, and at first, I was a bit scared, then I got super turned on by it. A girl I was friends with had apparently been giving me hints for a while that I hadn't been picking up on. One time we are hanging out and she goes to take a pee. She yells at me from the bathroom to come here. I walk up to the door and ask her what she needs. With no hesitation she says, "Come in here, I want you to watch me pee." Unexpected turn on for some reason. Bite my earlobe. It was great until my cat apparently figured it out, and now it's how she wakes me up. Older women who give off dumb mommy vibes. Once had an older woman with that short silver fox haircut and a stronger jaw call me a good girl while I was at work because I did something right with her order that nobody else could for some reason. I'm a relatively straight female, or am I? Well, duck, I don't know. When I was at the airport and had like 20k knock in cash and wanted to exchange it to euro. Took me a long time to count, but this bank woman at the airport just took my money and did some magic with her fingers that went so fast I couldn't believe it, and she knew within seconds how much money I gave her, but more than that, the whole way she acted with the whole transaction was so unbelievable professional. I have never experienced anything like that level of professionalism in my entire life. How could I not be turned on by the most pro woman I have ever seen? I accidentally Pavloved myself. There used to be this prune I watched with two chicks in it that had no audio other than music by Disturbed. Years later Disturbed came on the radio. I instantly got turned on. Was so confused for like 10 seconds. The flatbread at Subway suddenly seemed very sensual and seemed to have a skin-like texture. It quickly passed and was replaced with what the duck. Late to the party, but whatever. Being in my tent. Like, I don't even know. When I'm camping and I retire to my tent, slip into my sleeping bag and zip up the little tent door. I have no idea, but apparently that really does it for me. That scene in Golden where Xenia on a top squeezes that guy to death awoke something in me at a very young age. This guy I was seeing called customer service to get a company error corrected. He used the softest, firmest, most understanding tone I've ever heard, and I lost my damn mind. One day at work we had a day when we needed to dress business smart. Usually we dress very casually, and my coworker, who usually dresses in baggy shirts and jeans, wore a full-fitted suit. And oh man. When I was a freshman in college, an English boy in one of my classes said the phrase, "war of attrition," with his English accent, and I had to go take a breather. My fiance makes this sound when he's turned on by something I'm doing, or that he's looking at on me, but it can be a problem sometimes, because he sometimes uses the same sound when he sees like an ad for food that looks really good. Scaring people at my haunted house job. Brief eye contact with my tattoo artist while he was tattooing me. Edit. Added a word to clarify. Also, I didn't think this needed to be said, but obviously the needle wasn't touching my skin at that moment. Lol, no worries y'all. All the tattoos he's done for me have been great. I would be nervous that he wasn't looking at the tattoo. The fact that the guy I likes to be insulted. You like that? You ducking retard. When my husband looks back when he's backing in the car. My wife doesn't really ever swear. Except when we are doing the deed. Then she throws around F-bombs freely. One day she kicked the corner of the table and screamed out aloud "D-U-U-U-C-K." I had a Pavlovian response in my shorts. 12 years ago my wife said "duck me," like you paid for it. I still think about that. Read this as what unexpectedly turned on you, and started writing about how, when I was younger, my grandma's sweet dog almost tore off 2 of my fingers. Thank God I went back and read it. Kind of like a reverse hair down moment. Don't know how to describe it. First time noticing was a girl I kind of knew in high school, sort of pretty with really long brunette hair, in a science class. It was a practical lab, so no hanging hair. In just one sweep she gathered up all her hair and pulled and tied it into a ponytail and slipped on the safety glasses, and I was just gone. 70-year-old woman said I was handsome. Got a raging hard on for some reason. I think I need a girlfriend. I female was doing dishes and one of male friends who was visiting was watching me from the doorway, unbeknownst to me. When I noticed, he was just casually standing there, leaning against the frame, arms crossed, moist panties. Driving off cliffs in video games, falling in them in general. Also those videos of people jumping around on very high ledges and buildings. Finally something just plain duckin' weird. Someone acting out of character, so a shy guy suddenly being aggressive or a loud dude being quiet in a situation that might call for it. So like a big loud dude being soft towards a cat, or a quiet dude defending someone in a fight. Physical therapy. A Renault-BULLSH*T Indian lady is working on my neck. I start to droop my head. She unceremoniously yanks me back into position. Keep your head up. Damn, yes mistress. Hitting the rumble strips on the side of the road. When I'm cuddling with a guy, and I'm little spoon and I can feel him getting hard. That really does it for me. It bothers me a bit as a guy. Like, sometimes I just wanna cuddle and my duck like, oh, we about duck. Lem get ready. And I gotta tell it now, chill. False alarm. We just cuddling. But damn it if it doesn't pop up again a little while later, and I gotta say damn it duck, I thought we had an understanding with that. Thankfully my girlfriend enjoys it enough too, but I'm always afraid that she thinks it means I want to duck or something when in reality it's just my duck being a duck. A couple years back, my girlfriend at the time and I used to have sex while Pandora played. Every once in a while a car insurance commercial would play in the middle of songs. We laughed it off, but it didn't distract us from doing the deed. Fast forward a couple years forward, and I hear that same car insurance commercial. Instant erection. Someone being extremely passionate about history, or doing well in Scrabble. It's very weird. Doing well in Scrabble. Amy Santiago? First off, I'm a guy. So my high school had a dark room for a black and white film photography program. I was the only boy in the course. There were about 10 to 15 girls in the class. I was pretty good, and by my junior year, I had been involved in the program longer than any other student. Having so much experience led to me being a good place to go for advice on printing their photos. I would go to their station to figure things out, and the same 3 friends of mine that were girls in that class would come up behind me and rest their chin on my right shoulder, and that would always wake me up. I never expected something like that to send goosebumps up and down my body and warrant a reaction downstairs, but it happened, and I took it in stride from then on. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash the like button. For more hits and giggles, subscribe.